Hello knitters, Barbara Benson here. I am an independent knitwear designer who also likes to make videos here on my YouTube channel, Watch Barbara Knit. Make sure to check in the description below where you will find links to all the stuff I talk about in my shenanigans online, including where you can buy my patterns to knit up for yourself, how to join the Watch Barbara Knit Facebook group, and how to support me on Patreon. Today, I have for you a book look. I'm very excited about this. Ooh, real fast. You couldn't really see it because it's going to be a surprise. So this is something from the designer Stephanie Lotven, and I'm going to tell you how I got this. So I follow her on Instagram, and I've been watching as she started talking about her new book coming out. And when she started teasing photos and talking about the subject matter of the book, I was like, I have got to have this book. I have got to have it for a very specific reason. And it's because one of the questions I get a lot from people who come into the store and also just in general conversation, especially when I teach my tips and tricks for knitting with variegated yarn, is people asking about self-striping yarn and what to use it for other than socks. Because really, socks is what self-striping yarn was developed for. And this book is the answer to that question. It is Knit Happy with self-striping yarn. Bright, fun, and colorful sweaters and accessories made easy by Stephanie Lotven, creator of Telly Bean Knits. That is her company name. Now, when I saw that it was coming out, I reached out to her and asked if her publisher would consider sending me a copy for review. And I wanted to let y'all know that up front, that they agreed to send it to me so that I could show it to you and do a review of it. I'm not getting compensated for the review in any way other than they sent me the book. Okay. And I'm going to be straight with you. So I'm kind of devoted to keeping this channel positive. If I had received this book and looked through it and decided that I did not care for it and I could not recommend it, y'all would have never known that I got the book at all. And I probably would have offered to either send it back or pay them for it. Because if I didn't like it, if I thought it was a bad book, then I wouldn't be making a video about it. Because I'm not going to make a negative video and say this is a bad book. But I am also not going to tell you a book looks good when it doesn't. So there we go. So Knit Happy with self-striping yarn. This is a book look, and what we're going to do is I'm going to look through the book with you. I've read over it, and I'm going to tell you what's in it. And so you can make a decision if you want to invest in this book. And it is super fun. So she has a lot of information on the skill levels. Each of the patterns in here has a skill level, and she tells you which ones are which. So we've got 2 beginners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like 9 adventurous beginners. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 that she classifies as intermediate, and 1 that is advanced. And let me tell you, I've looked at the advanced one and it's kind of wild. So definitely. Then she moves on to a front section called, but look at that. Oh, so pretty. Getting started. And what she talks about is what self-striping yarn is and how to swatch with self-striping yarn. She has a really interesting formula she provides to figure out how your stripes are going to stripe up. I didn't 100% understand it reading it, but it definitely is one of those things that I think I would have to sit down, swatch it out, and follow her steps and to get a better understanding of what she's talking about. But it's really interesting. And what she does is she's talking about how to figure out the color repeat and all kinds of interesting things that you have to think about when you're knitting with self-striping yarn. And then she also talks about how to combine colors if you're using a self-striping yarn with a contrast color. So that is all really great information. So that's the front part, and then we get into the categories. Now, let me, hang on. So the categories, here we go. I skipped this page. Sorry about that. And so what we have is the first section. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. And the first section is mittens, colorful mittens with room to play. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. And then the next section is vibrant hats that knit up fast. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're up to 10 patterns. And then stash busting cowls that dazzle. And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4 cowl patterns. And then radiant rainbow shawls that thrill. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 5 shawl patterns. And then the rest are sweaters. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sweaters, 2 of which are children's sweaters. So we have a total of 5, 10, 15, 20, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. There's like 30 patterns in here, which is really impressive. So our mitten patterns, and I'm just going to say up front, this one I think is my favorite of the mittens. I'll talk about why when we get to it, but they look, I love fingerless mitts for one. So we've got the Parallel Currents mittens. This is Adventurous Beginner, and they're really interesting. She's using a chevron motif to play with the self-striping yarn, so that is really cool. And we've got information on it. And then these are the super advanced ones. These are called the Sharp Curve mitten. And it is wild. So look here. Isn't that wild? So the cast on is in this center right here. And then you've got the stripe that goes around. And it's kind of mind-bending how it looks. But what I really like about these is how the thumb looks. Look at that. Isn't that thumb beautiful? So come on, there we go. I'm trying to get my light to cooperate. I think the thumb looks really cool. So she really likes rainbow colors. So a lot of these things are in rainbow colors, but these are called the Rainbow Adventure Fingerless Mitts. And they're the ones I already showed you. As you can see, she doesn't worry about matching up the stripes. They're fraternal twins, not identical twins. And what the detail I really like in these mittens, let me see how I can show it to you, and you can really see them on the front, is that, so they're ribbed, so they're going to fit people really well, but on the thumbs you've got a twisted rib, which just gives it a really nice and interesting detail, that it's just a very small detail that really isn't going to add to the complexity too much of it, but it just makes it really pop and look nice. I don't know if you can see that twisted rib. So I really like those. I'd like to make these. Now, another thing I want to mention that I realized going through this is so many of these patterns, they're designed for self-striping yarn, but you could also pretty much do almost any of these patterns if you have a bunch of mini skeins. If you're willing to weave in the ends, you can just make your own stripes. If so, it could be great for that kind of stash busting situation. These are intermediate. These are the Leapfrog mittens, and they're interesting. This is one of the ones that has the contrast skein, where it's striping with this contrast, and it's in this really interesting. So she really likes playing with construction and doing interesting things with construction. So I think that is really cool. These are amazing if you do stranded knitting. These are called the Glitz mittens. Look how adorable those are with the hearts and the little spots. And the thing is, it looks like you're doing something really fancy, but it's the changing of the yarn, the color changing in the yarn, that's making the color change work. And it's just absolutely cute. This is charted, obviously. And now we are into the hats, the vibrant hats that knit up fast. This one I really like. So to start off with, what is the weight? This is a bulky yarn, which self-striping bulky yarn you don't see a lot, but she tells you what the brand is. And so this is fun. The lace elements of it make the stripes move a bit. So that's really cool. This one I like a lot. So this one, the brim, but it's way more than the brim, is worked side to side and then seamed, and then you pick up and do the top. And I think that's a really interesting way to use self-striping yarn. I love this shot. See, it looks like a headband, which is really cool. And I think that's a very different approach. So I love this color. I like that she shows the patterns in different types of self stripes. And that's one of the things she talks about is the different kinds of self stripes. Some are more subtle than others. This is the Everyday Magic bonnet. Bonnets you don't see a lot. I'm on the fence, but absolutely adorable on her and her kid, I assume, or this little kid. It's an interesting way because of the different construction. You can definitely manipulate the stripes into doing what you want. The back of it is my favorite thing about this bonnet. I think that is a really interesting detail. But I don't know about bonnets. It could be just because I have so much hair. The idea of a bonnet just doesn't really work for me. But it's something interesting and different. So this one I really like. This is called the backdrop hat. And I do want to mention that this is sized baby, toddler, child, adult medium, and adult large. So it is a full range of pattern, which is awesome to see in a book. And the cool thing about this is you're essentially knitting two hats. You knit the lining and then you knit the striped part, and the white is the lining, and then the stripe part kind of has lace in it that gives it its detail. But since it's like self-lined, it's going to still keep you warm. And look, you can see here it's reversible. So that is super cool. And I do really like this idea. I'm a huge pom-pom person, but this has this adorable little tassel on the top, which I think is a fun and different approach. And she has a whole set of instructions on how to create the tassel. So that's awesome. Okay, try to keep it up here so you can see. Now we have another, this is called the Gallivant hat. So it's an ear flap hat, which if you live someplace where it's cold, I can totally see needing this. And I like that she's got the two pieces. So the brimmy part is worked in one direction, and then the hat, the crown part, in another direction. So again, she's manipulating these stripes to do some really, really fun and engaging things. Again, as I said, she's using construction to do interesting and fun things with the stripes. This one definitely has more colors and they're narrower, but you can see when it's being worked across a short number of stitches, they're wider, and then once it's worked in the round, they get longer. So that is really interesting to me. Stash busting cowls that dazzle. This one is just stunning. Look at that. Whoop. There we go. Just beautiful. And really, it's just her stepping back and giving the pattern just enough interest to allow this beautiful, beautiful yarn to shine. So I think that is just amazing. She used two. So the self-striping is the rainbow, and she used a separate skein that's the charcoal. And that's why I said if you're using, you could definitely use minis here, and it would be absolutely adorable. I think this one might be my favorite pattern in the whole book. Look at this. Well, y'all know I love slip stitches. This one really, and you can see in this picture, she's manipulating again by knitting in different directions and controlling the number of stitches is how she's controlling the stripes. So the center panel is worked from the bottom up, and then you pick up on one side and work in one direction and pick up on the other side and work in the other direction. You can really see it here. I just love it. This is a highly striped yarn, a whole bunch of small ones. This is definitely one that would work great with minis. Or honestly, I could just see doing this one in 2 colors and it's still being absolutely adorable. I love it. It makes me so happy. And it's a cowlette. I love these, that they're just so easy to wear. So I think that that is my favorite one in the book. Here's another, it's called the Encompassing Cowl. Again, one that would be great for minis, but she's using slip stitches to really good effect, and bringing your stripes in and sort of taming the multicolor with the neutral. And I like the split detail on the side of the cowl so that it sits nicely. It's just a really nice piece. Very easy to knit is my guess. This one is, she's saying, at the end of practically every project, I have a little bit of yarn left over. The leftovers get thrown into a tub or fall to the bottom of my knitting bag. The Rainbow Blowout Cowl is the perfect project to bring all your leftover bits and bobs together. So this one is definitely one she's saying, you know, you can do a self-striping yarn, but you can do scraps, you can do minis, and she used mini skeins specifically on this one. Look, how cute is that? This is going to be one of those cowls that's cast on in the round and knit lengthwise, and then you seam them at the end, so it's reversible. But what she does is she progresses through a series of really fun looking stitches, like a dip stitch and a zigzag stitch and a slip stitch. They're just, it's a lot. Looks like a whole lot of fun. Yep, focus. It's in sections, and I'm betting if you like one section better than the other section, you can just repeat that. I mean, it's in 5 sections. So my thing is, yes, you could work through all the different sections, or in theory, if you just wanted to do, you literally have 5 different cowl patterns here. So that's really cool. I like it. And then she has instructions on joining it. It uses a provisional cast on. So that's cool. We're into the shawls. You know I love shawls. And really, how to use self-striping yarn in a shawl is something that I've never really thought about, but she obviously has and done amazing things. This one, absolutely stunning. Look at that. So she's using, the middle is the self-striping, and then either end is worked in a solid. And she talks about you can expand or change the middle. It's really one of these almost design your own shawl kind of situations. Let me see. Barbara. There we go. It's just beautiful. And then the next one is for the Thrill Shawl, and I'm going to show you the picture where it's like around. This one is super. If you like the stripes, but all that work is being done by the self-striping yarn. So it looks like you're doing something crazy, but you're not. It's absolutely beautiful. A little bit of lace, some stripes, so much fun. Here is a better picture of that one. Okay. A lot of this one, I can't even wrap my brain around how she designed this one. It's a rectangle that starts with a circle. That one is just, it's beautiful. And really, again, how she's using the stripes and making those stripes do all that work for you. This one she's saying is intermediate. So that's cool. She has really great pictures, instructionals, when she has any kind of tricky bits. So that is a great feature to have in a book. This of the shawls is probably my favorite. Look at that. So this is one where it's like 2 triangles worked sort of together, but putting that extra zigzag in there is just amazing. It's a big, long, rectangular shawl, but you're using that self-striping yarn for the featured bit. Hey, focus on. Here, I got to get my face out of there so it'll focus. Love it. Absolutely. There's short rows in here, so it's a little more fun. This is sort of, she's calling it a shawlette. I'd say it's a scarf. Again, she's playing with construction and striping it differently. This is 2 different self-striping yarns, and so you're knitting 2 panels and they reflect each other. So one of these skeins of yarn is gray with blue stripes, and one is blue with gray stripes. So that is how she's achieving that. Here, I'm going to show you the picture of how, there you go. Isn't that interesting? I mean, who would have thought doing fancy construction on what's essentially a scarf? Now, this last section, flattering sweaters in every shade, I believe is what got this whole self-striping thing rolling. This pattern, it is called the Sock Arms Cardigan, and it is so cute. This is just brilliant. So she's knitting the cardigan in a solid color, and then only the sleeves are done in the self-striping yarn, and you get these sock yarn sleeves. Here's a different color. Again, I love that she's showing this on different body types and sizes, and she's showing different color palettes for the self-striping yarn. It is super cute. Let's see. We need to know the sizes. This is important. This is important. It has extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, 2XL, 3XL, 4XL, 5XL, and 6XL. Okay? So everybody can make this sweater. I think that is amazing that she has provided such extensive sizing. It's wonderful. Here is the picture of the sock yarn. Love it. So happy. So fun. And here is the more pastel-y version in a larger size. Just kudos, 100% kudos for showing us both sizes, different things. Now, get ready for cute. This is the little sock arms. Adorable. It is so cute. So it's a little cardigan for little people. And this is size 0 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months, 18 months, 2T, 3T, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. So every little guy can also have one of these. I think it is perfectly unisex. I think you can make it for any child. It would be amazing. So cute. Then we have, this one is just took the cute. That one was cute. This is the Showered in Rainbows baby sweater. Mind-boggling. So very cute. Oh my goodness. And really, I tried to read through it. I have no idea how she's achieving this amazing color block effect. I think you'd have to read through it. It is so darn adorable. So cute. And then this one, I honestly might actually make this one. And I don't make garments. Look, this is called the Bright Axis Tee. This one and the cowl I showed you earlier are my favorite patterns, and I really can see myself making and wearing this one. Obviously, what she's doing is working side to side for that top part, then picking up in the round and knitting the body in the round. I think balancing this incredibly beautiful multicolor with this gorgeous gray, it's just, I love it. I love the boat neck. I love everything about this sweater. Again, our sizes are extra small through 7XL. So I can make it. And it's just, I love it. Look at that detail. Whoop. Where is it? Here we go. It is beautiful. And I can see knitting it in different colors. I can just see it being a staple in the wardrobe. Love that one. And then I think this is second to the last pattern. This is called Drop a Rainbow Pullover. And it is a variant on the sock arm cardigan. This is definitely not a cardigan. It's a sweater. It's just a pullover. And it's got a drop sleeve, a drop shoulder. So, but it's got a really pretty different way. She has, let me see if I can find a close-up here. There is a texture running through the arm itself. So that is another variant on the sock arm, but it's really cute and very, very wearable. Now, this is, yes, this is the last pattern in the book, and really it's a doozy. This is a stranded piece. This one goes up to 6XL. I'm just going to let you marvel at its beauty because it is gorgeous. And it's just amazing because all this work that makes it look like you've changed all these colors, she's doing it with self-striping yarn, which is just absolutely amazing. And I want to see, here is the detail. So it also has detail around the bottom as well. So that is, and it's got speckles throughout the entire piece. It's a beautiful, beautiful sweater. So really, it's just amazing. The back section, she's got very well illustrated. I'm just going to show you a couple. She's got instructions. She's got cast on instructions. She's got joining instructions. She's got great step-by-step photos. It is a beautiful, she's got yarn resources so you can find all the yarns. Now all the yarns in here they look like they're all from your independent dyers. And the thing is that most self-striping yarns are coming from indie dyers because it's a very, very labor intensive process. But you know, if you find one that's more commercially available, you might see how it's going to work up. So this has been a long video because I wanted you to have all the information you need and I wanted to show off this absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous book. So whenever anyone asks me, what can I do with self-striping yarn and I don't want to knit any more socks? I got an answer for you. It's this one. And it really has made me think about self-striping yarns in a different way. I don't know if I'm going to play with any anytime soon, but it is very inspiring. So I encourage you to check with your local yarn store to see if they're going to carry the book. I know that the store I work for is going to have copies of it, so I will link to that below. I'm also confident that it's available. If you can't get to a store through Amazon, there'll be a link to that as well. So that was the book look at Knit Happy with self-striping yarn. And I think it is, if you like self-striping yarn or if you like minis, you have a lot of scraps, I think it is definitely a great addition to your knitting library. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up, click that like button. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload a new video, please subscribe to my channel and select notifications. Thank you so much.